Hello and welcome to another fun and exciting point of sale related video. Purpose of this video is to cover the state of Microsoft RMS as it sits today in February 2020. Yes, not too long after the State of the Union address. So basically I want to quickly cover some facts related to the July 2021 end of life date for the Microsoft RMS point of sale software, data on what other retailers who use RMS are doing, and general advice on what you should do. Want to give a quick shout out as well to any of our liquor store fans or liquor stores using RMS, especially in the states of Colorado and Montana, since I'm working on some projects with you folks there. All right, let's dive in. So, facts. All extended RMS and RMS HQ support for Microsoft ends in July of 2021. That's for people who currently are on BRAP, or what I prefer to call software maintenance. If you are not current on a software maintenance agreement with Microsoft, then actually your support ends July of 2020. One thing I have just recently seen happening as well is that many of the RMS dealers, VARs, resellers, partners, whatever you want to call them, are setting dates where they are ending support for RMS or have already ended support for RMS. It's not everybody. The place I work for, obviously, we're committed to supporting RMS past July of 2021, but I've had three that have already ended, and one very large one out of the Pacific Northwest that will be ending support in early of 2021. So something to note, because I'm always asked, okay, so it's into life. It means after July 2021, it's not like RMS is going to magically stop working. It just means you're not going to get support from Microsoft. You're not going to be able to purchase new licenses. And this is still being tested, but there is a strong probability that you will not be able to reactivate existing licenses. Meaning if you have to replace a point of sale computer and reinstall RMS, you won't be able to do that. Or if your only computer running RMS crashes, you get a new one, you have to reinstall, you will not be able to do that, is the understanding at this time. Now that's subject to change, but that's the word we have at as it sits today. Some other facts. Reality is, at some point, no one's going to have the resources to support Microsoft RMS. Whether that's in 2022 or 2025, it's tough to say at this point. But there will be a point where it's just not going to make sense, and there's going to be so few people using it that no one's going to want to invest the resources in supporting RMS. I've seen also a surprising number of retailers already running into issues with hardware compatibility, as well as Windows 10 issues, and having their processing turned off, or what I call their merchant services. So that is an issue. One recent example was a company had their RMS database computer crash, and it cost them about $1,000 to get the data restored. Um, hopefully that doesn't happen to you, but reality is, with an older system, it can be a little tougher to find inexpensive fixes. I will say, with regards to the credit and debit processing being turned off, that is becoming a weekly occurrence that someone contacts me. And that's why folks are still going with it, third-party plugins like the Card Defender software for RMS. And once again, there will be a point down the road where if you're going to want to really keep running RMS, it's going to be on a computer that is not used to process payments and is not updated for the operating system and hardware. It's going to be an old computer. It's going to run RMS until it dies, and that's all it's going to be good for. So here's a good summary of what other RMS users are doing, or other retailers using RMS are doing that I've talked to over the last 2 years. So of the 453, approximately 25% of you have upgraded to Retail Management Hero or Cloud Retailer. Those are the direct, in fact, the only direct replacement programs for Microsoft RMS, where you're going to keep your historical data, possibly qualify for some discounts, and not be having the time or expense of starting with a new point of sale system. However, 18% of you did opt to start with a new point of sale system. You had certain things you needed that other programs offered, and that's what you went with. About 26% of you decided, well, I'm going to hang on to RMS. I'll just unplug my integrated payment processing and use a standalone payment terminal, or use Square or something like that for payment processing. So that's an easy fix. I mean, it really doesn't cost anything, because most merchant services companies will provide you with a payment terminal at little to no cost. The downside is then you've got, the fat keying, where the numbers are transposed for the total. I did a survey about a year ago with retailers, and the average dollar loss was about $46 and change a week, give or take. So, that's still a good chunk of change that you'll be losing in profit by having a standalone payment terminal. About 29% of you have put in the Card Defender plugin, and the remaining 2%, you didn't get back to me. So, not that I'm upset about that. All right, of the 41 retailers that I've worked with or spoken with, met with, toured, whatever, that have multiple store locations, and you're using Microsoft RMS HQ, 16% of you have upgraded to Cloud Retailer. Now here's something a little unique. Cloud Retailer is actually the only multi-location direct replacement program for RMS. Now immediately a bunch of you are saying, RMH, Retail Management Hero, RMH Central, still not out. As of my last conversation with RMH, is that Retail Management Hero Central, or RMH Central, is not yet ready for general deployment. Now that will change, but for the time being, that makes Cloud Retailer the only option. For various reasons, 18% of you went through the time and expense of starting from scratch with a new POS system to replace RMS. Again, you had compelling reasons. You had to bite the bullet and say, okay, there's nothing that we can do aside from starting with a new POS system. About 36% of you are researching options as I record this video. 10% of you have put in Card Defender with the intent of keeping RMS a bit longer. 12% of you are going to wait until 2021 before you even start thinking about it. And 9% of you are going to hang on to RMS. And the most common, when I talk to you folks, when I talk to retailers in that situation, they say, Kevin, I mean, there's nothing we can go to. There's nothing that does what RMS and RMS HQ do for us. And again, cost is obviously a factor in that as well. All right, some realities to share. I can't stress this enough. Something will happen at some point down the road that will make RMS non-functional. And again, I've had some recent examples with the credit card processing and restoring databases, as well as some folks who have had trouble reinstalling RMS and not being able to activate their license keys. I want to stress again that as of the time I am recording this video, only Retail Management Hero and Cloud Retailer are direct replacement programs for RMS. By direct replacement, I mean these are the only programs where you are going to transfer historical data like customer purchase history. These are also ways to take advantage of some potential license discounts and things like that. All right, so here's the advice. Appreciate you paying attention and watching this. So if you're serious about retailing, look at the two RMS replacement programs first. Look at Retail Management Hero, look at Cloud Retailer. At the same time, develop a wish list of features and functions that you want in a point of sale system. Look at things that you like about RMS, things that you wish RMS had, or maybe look at your competitors' POS and say, hey, I wish we could do that. And that's why I call it a wish list. It's things that you wish you had in your POS system. I also need to stress, because this comes up weekly as well when folks contact me, if you have computer hardware, computers, monitors, receipt printers, cash drawers, barcode printers, customer price pull displays, scales, scanners, if any of that stuff is more than 5 years old, you're going to need to replace it. I realize it's an expense, but with technology changing, what worked with RMS and what worked, 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago is a pain to try to get to work with the newer generation of point of sale programs. There are exceptions, but go into it realizing that if you haven't refreshed your hardware in the last 5 years, you're probably going to need to replace it. Now, if for some reason you don't like Retail Management Hero or Cloud Retailer, or they don't contain your wish list items and can't contain your wish list items, then you're going to have to broaden your search. And I don't mean expend your POS software search, I mean expand your POS software search. Knowing that you'll be starting from scratch with a new POS system. When I say starting from scratch, I mean you might be able to transfer some of your basic data over, like product descriptions and things like that, but you will have the time and expense of essentially starting from scratch, just like when you first purchased RMS. Another piece of advice, if you are a retailer dealing with age-restricted products like tobacco, alcohol, cannabis, things like that, take a serious look at Cloud Retailer. I've had a bunch of folks contact me since fall of 2019 in those markets, really liking what they see in Cloud Retailer and jumping on the Cloud Retailer bandwagon. So it's cool because Cloud Retailer is a direct replacement for RMS, but it's also designed for retailers who sell age-restricted products. So you're getting kind of the best of both worlds there. If you're going to be one of those retailers who hangs on to RMS, please make sure that you have daily off-site backups of the database. Either switch to using a standalone payment terminal or a third-party plugin like Card Defender. Do not update the operating system on the computer running RMS, and have a plan in place to get a new POS system when the day comes and RMS no longer works and you can't find any support. All right, on that happy note, if you have any questions, I'll put my contact information in the video description. This isn't stuff I'm making up off the top of my head. I have 7 years retail management experience, 21 years experience in the point of sale industry. I offer point of sale consulting to retailers and organizations of all types and sizes, as well as offering actual point of sale hardware and software sales and service. I tallied it up and I just went over the 1,700 mark on the number of retailers I've worked with since 1999. And I also want to stress that I am not a one-person show. I am backed by a fully staffed and US-based point of sale value-added reseller. Thanks for watching.